Deepseek sell-off is still really pressuring tech.
Triggered on its face by one Chinese startup. If the Chinese company has billion-dollar investment the way it says it has, then Deepseek.
It was a normal Monday morning on Wall Street, until it wasn't. On January 27, 2025, investors watched in disbelief as nearly $600 billion vanished from NVIDIA's market value in just hours.
As American companies face the emergence of a new AI app from China.
The culprit? A small Chinese startup most Americans had never heard of. Its name was Deepseek, and in just 1 week, it had done the impossible, overtaking Chat GPT to become the most downloaded free app in America's App Store.
Which is a Chinese-built chatbot, immediately rattled investors and wiped a staggering $1 trillion off the US tech index.
This is how a former hedge fund manager and his team of young engineers in Hangzhou, China, managed to build an AI system that rivals the giants of Silicon Valley, and did it for less than the cost of a luxury mansion in San Francisco. Today, we're going to unpack how Deepseek's founder went from trading stocks to challenging Silicon Valley, the ingenious way they built their AI system while navigating US chip sanctions, why their success shocked the global tech industry, and what this means for the future of artificial intelligence. So, let's start at the beginning. Back, way back. Our story begins not in a Silicon Valley garage, but in the halls of Zhejiang University in China. It's 2007, and while the world is dealing with a financial crisis, a student named Liang Wangfeng is discovering his passion for using computers to predict market movements. While his classmates are studying traditional trading methods, Liang is writing algorithms that can analyze market patterns faster than any human. These weren't just student experiments. By February 2016, Liang had transformed his trading algorithms into Highflyer, a hedge fund that would change how China approached the market. Within a year, his AI-powered systems were handling most of the fund's trades. Highflyer grew rapidly, becoming the first Chinese quant fund to manage over 100 billion yuan. But Liang was playing a longer game. In 2019, while his fund was thriving, he quietly began construction on something called Fireflyer, a computing cluster that cost 200 million yuan. It was just the beginning. By 2021, as other companies worried about quarterly earnings, Liang started gathering the pieces for something much bigger. He began methodically acquiring NVIDIA A100 GPUs, the most advanced AI chips available. Reports say he accumulated 10,000 of them. The timing was perfect, just months before US sanctions would make these chips impossible for Chinese companies to buy. Then came Fireflyer 2, a billion yuan computing behemoth. Picture 625 nodes, each holding 8 powerful GPUs, all connected through a network running at 200 gigabits per second. By 2022, this massive system was running at 96% capacity, processing over 56 million GPU hours of computations. Even more interesting, 27% of this computational power wasn't being used for trading at all. It was supporting scientific computing projects outside the company. Liang was building the foundation for something much bigger than a hedge fund. He was secretly assembling the computational power that would make Deepseek possible. By early 2023, rumors started circulating in Chinese tech circles about a mysterious new AI research lab. In April, Highflyer announced it was launching an artificial general intelligence lab separate from its financial operations. 3 months later, in July 2023, Liang officially incorporated Deepseek in Hangzhou. The venture capital world took notice immediately. But Liang had a different vision for Deepseek. While venture capitalists lined up with checkbooks ready, he politely declined their offers. They worried the company couldn't generate a quick exit, precisely what Liang wanted to avoid. He maintained complete control, holding 84% ownership through 2 shell corporations, giving him freedom to build for the long term. And see, this long-term thinking shaped every aspect of Deepseek, especially how they assembled their team. While Silicon Valley companies engaged in bidding wars for established AI researchers, Deepseek turned to universities, making fresh graduates with new ideas the backbone of their technical team. The company then took an even bolder step in their recruitment strategy. Deepseek actively sought out poets to enhance their AI's understanding of creative writing. They brought in experts on the Gaokao, China's intensely competitive college entrance exam, to help the AI master complex problem solving. Artists joined the team to work on AI's understanding of visual concepts. The strategy was clear: focus on raw talent and diverse thinking rather than traditional credentials. By May 2024, this unconventional team was already making waves in the AI world. While other companies chased after the same pool of experienced researchers, Deepseek was building something unique: an AI team that combined technical skills with deep knowledge across multiple fields. It paid off. And it was all thanks to their innovative approach. The team developed a suite of custom software tools that would maximize every bit of computing power they had. They created 3FS, a specialized file system that could handle massive amounts of data without getting bogged down. Their HFReduce library revolutionized how information flowed between processors, running operations asynchronously on CPUs to keep the more expensive GPUs focused on critical tasks. Think of it like this: if traditional AI development is like building a massive highway system, Deepseek found ways to make traffic flow more efficiently on smaller roads. They didn't need the biggest infrastructure. They just needed to use what they had more effectively. The result? Their latest AI model, Deepseek R1, cost just $6 million to develop. For comparison, OpenAI's GPT-4 reportedly cost over $100 million. And yet, R1 could match or even exceed its capabilities in many areas. And that brings us to January 20th, 2025. Remember this date. It's when Deepseek quietly released their free chatbot based on the R1 model for iOS and Android. At first, it seemed like just another app launch, but what happened next would change the global financial markets in a way that nobody saw coming. Within just 7 days, that's right, a single week, this Chinese app had done something that seemed impossible. It overtook Chat GPT to become the most downloaded free app on the iOS App Store in the United States. Think about that for a second. A Chinese AI app, developed for a fraction of the cost of its competitors, had just beaten Silicon Valley at its own game. The reaction from Wall Street was brutal. On January 27th, investors woke up to what can only be described as a bloodbath in the tech sector. Nvidia, the company that had been riding high on the AI boom and was briefly the world's most valuable company, saw its stock plummet by 18%. In a single day, $593 billion of market value just vanished. To put that in perspective, that's the largest single-day loss for any company in Wall Street history. Not just tech companies, any company, ever. But it wasn't just Nvidia, it was the entire tech sector. The tech-heavy NASDAQ index dropped 3.1% as investors scrambled to make sense of what this meant for the future of AI. Broadcom, another major chip maker, saw its shares crater by 17.4%. Even the giants weren't immune. Microsoft, one of ChatGPT's biggest backers, fell 2.1%, and Google's parent company Alphabet dropped 4.2%. The panic was so severe that investors started dumping shares of everything connected to AI infrastructure. Power utility companies that had been riding high on hopes of massive demand from power-hungry data centers saw their stocks tank. Vistra shares fell 28.3%, Constellation Energy dropped 20.8%, and NRG Energy lost 13.2%. Even companies building data center infrastructure, like Vertiv Holdings, saw their shares plummet by nearly 30%. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about money, this was about something much more fundamental. Deepseek had just proven that you don't need hundreds of millions of dollars and warehouses full of the most expensive chips to build cutting-edge AI. They had done it for just $6 million, while working around US sanctions that were supposed to prevent exactly this kind of breakthrough. The entire foundation that the AI industry had been built on, the idea that you needed massive budgets and cutting-edge hardware to compete, was suddenly looking shaky. Silicon Valley executives, who had been confident that their massive investments in AI infrastructure would keep them ahead, were now facing a reality where a small team from Hangzhou had completely changed the rules of the game. Some, like venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, called it AI's Sputnik moment, a wake-up call similar to when the Soviet Union surprised America by launching the first satellite into space. President Donald Trump described it as a wake-up call for US companies. But does Deepseek really live up to the hype? Let's dig into how it actually performs against ChatGPT. GPT. Let's start with coding. This is where Deepseek has really turned heads in the tech community. Javier Aguirre, an AI researcher at Samsung Medical Center in Seoul, put both models to the test with some seriously complex coding problems. What he found was pretty remarkable. Deepseek wasn't just keeping up with Chat GPT, it was solving problems that even Chat GPT's latest model struggled with. And we're talking about Chat GPT's O1 model here, which is no slouch. Things get even more intriguing when it comes to writing and creative tasks. Take story writing, for example. When asked to write a children's story about a boy living on the moon, Chat GPT came back with 6 different story ideas, each with its own unique twist. Deepseek, on the other hand, took a different approach. Instead of multiple ideas, it dove right in and wrote a complete story about a boy named Milo. Sure, neither's going to win any literary awards, but you can clearly see how these AIs think differently about the same task. However, Deepseek's rise hasn't been without controversy. The model applies content restrictions in accordance with Chinese regulations, limiting responses on certain sensitive topics. Some users have reported bias in the model's responses on controversial topics, particularly those related to Chinese government viewpoints. So yeah, there's some censorship in this AI. Also, because it's Chinese, the app's been banned on government devices in several countries, including South Korea, Australia, and Taiwan, due to concerns about data security. Italy has blocked the app entirely and ordered the company to stop processing the personal information of its citizens. Will it completely dethrone ChatGPT as our go-to AI? That remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, it's got a lot to offer. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content.